In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 1 of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. This episode is titled Lot 36. Now, the way I'm going to do my reviews on this series is that I'm going to do episodic reviews on each episode and give my reviews about the story, what I liked and what I didn't like about it. Now, basically, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities is a horror anthology series that premiered October 25th, 2022 on Netflix. It features 8 modern horror stories and in different forms in different ways. Now, Guillermo del Toro co-wrote 2 of the episodes by himself, and also while the others are written and directed by various filmmakers. Now, each episode is introduced by Guillermo del Toro, giving sort of a kind of backstory to what we're going to expect. This has a 100% feeling of Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone and Night Gallery. You put those two together, this is what you get. Lot 36 is absolutely interesting for a very first episode. Now, it tells a story of Nick, who is a xenophobic right-wing political person. Tells it like it is, doesn't give a flying shit about what's happening, but he's in debt for some money, and he goes around buying abandoned storage room lots. And if you've seen Storage Wars, you know how those people work. This is what Nick does, and he comes upon this storage called Lot 36, and with that he kind of is very desperate for the funds. And as he's desperate for funds, we get an interesting story about what he's doing and everything. Now, a Mexican immigrant, Amelia, comes to him and says, my lot was sold to you, I want it back. He's like, no. And literally, kind of like in a metaphorical way, spits in her face, but by giving her the padlock that he cut. And it's interesting because also at the beginning of this episode, we see an old man watching TV or watching the President of the United States at the time, George H.W. Bush, giving a speech, and he goes and he cuts things up, and all of a sudden this guy dies. Now, also working at the storage place is Eddie, and Eddie and Nick are working together in a way where, Nick gets half of a cut while Eddie gets another cut and everything. So that's going on. Nick starts seeing things and taking things away. He gets this candelabra. He finds this brass candelabra. He finds a table with chairs, and he takes it to this kind of, I want to say, appraiser in a way. She's wearing all black, and this appraiser calls an interested buyer in the name of Roland. Roland says that this fourth is a seance table, and they happened this, certain things were done to it. And while Nick was in the storage locker room, he looked through old pictures, and you could tell that this old man that died in the beginning of the episode was like a Nazi soldier. So as that's going on, Roland's like, take me to this storage room. So we have to find this 4th book. You only have 3 of them, but if you find all 4, I'll write a check for you for $300,000. So they go back to, the storage room, and they uncover a secret, area or panel. This storage room is way bigger than what you thought it would be. And as Roland and Nick are going here, Roland kind of gives a backstory about the old man, a missing woman, the demonic aspect of what's going on in a way. So they get to the end of this room, and we see a figure in this pentagram, and it's absolutely crazy. Roland says not to break the barrier between their world and it, but Nick doesn't listen. Nick goes to the 4th book, grabs it, and all of a sudden this demon or this demonic dormant entity comes alive and literally eats Roland and everything, and shit and chaos starts happening, and it's absolutely crazy. The way this started was absolutely fun. Lot 36 was very different. It's directed by Guillermo Navarro, and it's based on the short story by Guillermo del Toro, and it was an interesting way to start this series, The Cabinet of Curiosities. It's really well done. I enjoyed it. The way the tension is in the beginning, and the way this character is, he doesn't give a shit because he's worried about himself and himself alone. And now in today's age, that all you care about is yourself. You know, if you want to help someone, you really don't. As the story progressed, the story went up, up, and up because you didn't know what to expect. You didn't know what was happening. But you can piece together in certain things, the symbols, the imagery, the words, the dialects, and, you know, the pictures of the Nazi symbol. You understood what this old man was doing and why he did it, and the backstory. And, you know, you think it's cliche and horror, but it's not. The cinematic aspect was interesting. What I didn't like was how the demon was, in a way. The demon was really different than what you've ever seen, with tentacles and just, you know, the aura of no face and just lower body of legs and upper body of just like things just like moving around like this. Absolutely, absolutely crazy. But Tim Blake Nelson as Nick was really believable and really fun. And I absolutely love Tim Blake Nelson as an actor, and he's really, really underrated. This was fantastic. Like I said, this was a great start to how this series is going. Now, with me reviewing every episode of this series, I'll also be giving my rating for each episode. I won't give my full rating of it like I usually do for a series that I watch. I'm going to give each episode its own rating. So for me, Lot 36 gets 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this first episode of the Cabinet of Curiosities. Excuse me, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Did you like that this was an interesting story and how we started out? Or did you think that something else could have been done? And, you know, as a horror fan like me and you watching, did you like the horror elements that were done to it? And what else do you think could have been done? Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 1 of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, titled Lot 36. And also let me know what rating you would give episode 1. So like I said, be sure you stay tuned for my full episodic reviews of this show. And I'll see you all in the next review video.